Hello YouTube. Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting and a Fan. The time is approximately 3 minutes to midnight, the witching hour. And the date is still Tuesday, January 28th, 2020. The sun is in Aquarius and the moon is going from being void of course Pisces to full transit in Aries. I am very happy to announce that in a few moments I'm going to do the December 2019 entry for Llewellyn's 2019 tarot calendar. I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a close-up of the cover. This will be the last time he does a close-up of this cover because I'll be moving on to the Llewellyn's 2020 tarot calendar in a few videos from now. So, once again, I must acknowledge that here is yet another tarot deck that I own, and it's for a page that has no spread. I'm like, rah! But I know how to rectify that for 2020. But in the meantime, I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person do a quick close-up of this page. And it depicts a card from the Everyday Witch Tarot, which has become one of my personal favorite tarot decks of late, especially now that I have the Everyday Witch Oracle. And I'm going to read what Barbara Moore wrote about the Four of Swords. I'm going to read about the meditation tip, focusing on the spiderweb symbol, and her blurb on numbers and suits. So, Four of Swords. Understanding through logic isn't always easy. Thinking too much about something can lead to mental paralysis and circular thought. Now, for the record, I've always been told that I think too much, and I don't have a problem being told that I think too much. I don't take it as a compliment. I take it as it's something that I need to work on because it's a character flaw. However, I don't think I've ever experienced either mental paralysis or circular thought as a result of thinking too much, but I could be wrong. Taking a break allows thoughts to rearrange themselves, making the solution clear. And one of the traditional meanings of the Four of Swords is rest and recuperation after surgery. However, surgery aside, this card is about taking a break, either a mental break or a physical break that leads to mental rest. Now, the meditation tip, or tip: meditation. We have feelings and thoughts, but we are not our feelings and thoughts. That's so Buddhist to me. That comes across as a Buddhist concept. And those of you who practice Buddhism, let me know if that is an actual Buddhist concept. Through meditation, it is easier to see, as if from a distance, the ideas and emotions that we experience. When we give ourselves time and space to examine what we felt, or what we thought we believed, we can either reinforce our initial judgment or realize a new truth. Either way, we come out stronger, more ourselves than we were before. There are lots of ways to meditate. Find one that fits your personality and lifestyle and get closer to your true self. And personally, I've always felt it's appropriate for me to engage in meditation and prayer both before my first reading of the day as well as in those interlude periods between readings. And this is of course primarily when I give readings at a public venue. Like when I give readings at a psychic fair, when I give readings at Notions and Potions for the day. But now I'm beginning to see that there is a level of importance to engaging in prayer and meditation after I finish my last reading of the day. And I will certainly have the opportunity to do that next month when I return to Notions and Potions. But that's another topic for another video for another day, as I am so fond of saying. But what I am going to say is, for me personally, I must engage in meditation and prayer before conducting my first reading of the day, or prior to beginning a private client's reading. I have a regular client who lives in the borough of Queens in New York City, and I will take that time when I'm on the subway going from Midtown Manhattan to the section of Queens in which she lives to engage in meditation and prayer. And and some people might think, but isn't that difficult? Honestly, I've gotten to the point in my personal meditation practice that I can meditate anywhere, under virtually any conditions. The music could be loud, the music could be non-existent, the music could be low in volume. It really doesn't matter to me. It has been a while since I have meditated or prayed in a place that has loud music. There was a time when I could give readings in a bar or a club. I'm not sure if I can still do that. I know that at Chill Wine Bar they don't have the music on too high a volume, so I can still meditate and pray when I'm there giving readings during the Notions and Potions psychic fairs. But if I were to give readings in, let's say, a dance club or a gay bar, or any kind of bar for that matter, like a loud music kind of bar, I'm not sure if I could do that anymore. But I haven't had practice, so I could be wrong. But I will say that for me, meditation and prayer are two of my personal favorite spiritual practices. And they're ones that are a constant part of my life. And I know that prayer is actually a multi-daily part of my life, or a multi-daily spiritual practice. One of the symbols depicted on this card is the spider web, and it's specifically in the Four of Swords of the Everyday Witch Tarot. I don't recall seeing spider webs in other Tarot decks Four of Swords cards. Okay. You can't always rush insight. The web on her broom means she's been lying there a while. Allow enough time for your mind to settle so that new ideas can emerge. And see, even though I read this, what resonates more for me is Spider-Woman. Spider-Woman is one of the most beloved of Native American goddesses. And in the Native American cosmology, the spider represents the weaver of worlds and the weaver of words. So for me, the spider web is coming up as something different. So I'm looking at the spider web depicted in the Four of Swords card in the Everyday Witch Tarot. And for me, what's coming up is, this is about what you're weaving, what you are creating, what you desire to manifest. So when you engage in meditation and contemplation, when you are engaged in this practice of mentally reviewing or mentally allowing something to be revealed to your consciousness or from your higher consciousness, it's about what you are weaving, what you are bringing into light or into being, or what you want to bring into manifestation. Numbers and suits. In tarot, the numbers and the suits have meaning. See the back of the calendar for more information. Now, I'm not going to go through it, but I am going to read, I'm going to see where that section is. Tarot terms, the suits of tarot, numbers in tarot. Okay. Okay, got it. All right. So now I'm going to go back to December. Okay. To learn the meaning of the minor arcana, combine the suit and the number. Wait a minute. To learn the meanings of the minor arcana, combine the suit and the number. Each of the suits has different qualities and will react differently with the energy of the number. Wands and swords are active and fast-moving, which makes sense because in most tarot decks, wands correspond to the element of fire and to the fire signs of the Western zodiac, and swords traditionally correspond to the element of air and not surprisingly to the air signs of the Western zodiac. And wands and air, well, rather fire and air, and wands and swords are part of the masculine polarity, the outer directed. So it makes sense that wands and swords and fire and air represent energies that are active and fast moving. Cups and pentacles are passive and slow. And cups correspond to the water signs, pentacles to the earth signs. I have several planets in earth signs, and I am not somebody that likes being rushed. I don't like feeling like I have to do something right away, because when I feel rushed, I always forget something important. And it bothers me because then it's like I made a mistake. And I am a perfectionist. I do not like making mistakes. That doesn't mean I am never ever going to make a mistake. It just means that I am at times focused and at times obsessed with refraining from any possibility arising where I could make a mistake. Odd numbers are more active or disruptive, while even numbers are calmer. And I'm going to read that again. Odd numbers are more active or disruptive, while even numbers are calmer, or rather, they're more passive or calmer. So the active energy of the swords and wands is calmed and contained in a number like 4, while the cups and pentacles will stagnate. The active energy of 3 helps give vibrancy to the pentacles and cups, while pushing the wands and swords towards an edgy, frenetic quality. When studying the minor arcana, pay attention to these relationships in the cards and in your readings. And one of the things that I'm going to add to that is pay attention to how many of that same number show up. You know, how many 4s show up in a reading, including Trump 4, the Emperor card. How many 9s show up in the reading, including Trump 9, the Hermit card. How many 2s, including Trump 2, the High Priestess card of the Sacred Tarot. How many cards are cups? How many cups are wands? How many cups are swords? How many cups are pentacles? How many cards are pentacles? So pay attention to these things. And I would be remiss if I did not add, look to see if there's a card missing. Do you know how many readings I've given over the years where the Queen of Cups was present, the Queen of Swords was present, the Queen of Pentacles was present, but not the Queen of Cups? Or whatever the missing card was? Like in the minor arcana, there are 4 of each one, from Ace through King. And I have given readings where 3 of the 4 aces have been present, 3 of the 4 2s have been present, 3 of the 4s, not 3 of the 4s, 3 of the 4 3s have been present, and on down the line. So what's the missing card? You know, let's say you give a reading and the star card is present, and the moon card is present. What about the sun? See, according to my personal psychic advisor, Roger Pratt, that would mean that person is not going to appear on TV over the next 1 to 2 years from the time of the reading. But it is interesting to note that the sun, the moon, and the stars are the luminaries of the major arcana. So what is not yet being brought to light? And let's say, for the sake of argument, that you have in your reading the 4 of Swords, and the 4 of Wands, and the 4 of Cups, but not the 4 of Pentacles, or Trump 4, the Emperor card. So what's not yet in place? What has yet to arrive? What has yet to be revealed? And because there are 4 suits, and there are 10 numbered cards, it's not always going to be the same combination. You know, you could have Ace of Wands and 10 of Pentacles, and you could have 2 of Cups and 2 of Swords, and no Trump 2, the High Priestess. You know, when I led my very first beginner's level tarot course from September to October of 2001, I remember one of the constant questions was combinations of cards. And I remember that the interest in an intermediate/advanced level tarot course was so strong that more than half of the participants of my very first beginner's level tarot course registered for that intermediate/advanced level tarot course. And I will tell you that the first class was just about combinations of cards. And it was a class that could have been much longer. And I probably could have led an entire course just on combinations of cards, but I really didn't feel divinely guided or intuitively led to do every combination of cards. Like every combination of 2 cards and every combination of 3 cards. Because if you think about it, this is how, no, I don't want to do the math about this, because I don't have that much time left in this video, and I want to finish this video before 12:30 a.m. I want to finish it before 5 minutes from now, actually, but that's another story. So I would say that one of the ways that you can finish this up for yourself is if you were also just looking at how you can explore combinations of cards on your own. And that may be one of the things you need to no, I'm going to say it like this. That could be something that you focus on for 2020. Like, what combination of cards represents this? Or what combination of cards could be used for this desire or this goal or this manifestation or this intention? Like, really take your combinations of cards to the next level. And with that, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, I conclude this ongoing series of videos featuring the entries for Llewellyn's 2019 Tarot Calendar. I want to tell you I have enjoyed this series so much, and now that I have Llewellyn's 2020 Tarot Calendar, I am looking forward to continuing this series of YouTube videos on my YouTube channel. If you have not already purchased your copy of Llewellyn's 2020 Tarot Calendar, please do so. I have been saying for years that I understand why Llewellyn discontinued their tarot readers line. It was a 4-volume series. It was an annual, and I loved it. I loved it, loved it, loved it. But the fact of the matter is that you know, a publishing house has the right to make money. They have the right to receive revenue for what they offer. And if they're not going to buy a product, if customers are not going to buy a certain product, then it's going to be very difficult for that company to continue offering that product. And it's the same thing with Llewellyn's tarot calendars. You know, it makes me so happy and so fulfilled and so excited and so delighted that Llewellyn Llewellyn Worldwide, Llewellyn Publishing, once again has a tarot-themed annual. It makes me extremely happy, extremely fulfilled, extremely at peace. But I know that for Llewellyn to want to continue publishing this, there has to be a demand. And that demand comes from people buying this product. So if you have not already purchased this, please do so. If you love tarot, or if you love and adore tarot, or if you're like myself, you're in lust with the tarot, buying this tarot-themed calendar is a no-brainer. It's an obvious choice. It's like, why do you not own this calendar? If you love tarot, if you are in lust with the tarot, if you love and adore tarot, it makes perfect sense for you to have this calendar. Now, if there is another tarot-themed calendar out there, let me know about it in the comments, because I'd love to buy that one too. And I don't know if there are, and if there are, please let me know, because I'd love to buy it. And I'd love to buy it while they still have copies left. But I really feel like this is something that makes me really happy. And it makes me very relieved, and it alleviates a lot of stress from my complete being now that I have my own copy of Llewellyn's 2020 Tarot Calendar. So if you have not already purchased this, Llewellyn's 2020 Tarot Calendar, please do so as soon as possible. And by all means, go to your local metaphysical stores first. It's funny because every year I want to buy a Llewellyn annual at my local Barnes & Noble bookseller store, or one of my Barnes & Noble bookseller stores that I love going to. And they never seem to find this. They never seem to have in stock by the time that I think about buying it, Llewellyn's Daily Planetary Guides. So I wound up buying them other places. This I purchased at a place called Namaste Bookshop, which is on West 14th Street near Fifth Avenue in Greenwich Village. Well, actually, technically Chelsea, Greenwich Village in Manhattan. And I purchased my copy of Llewellyn's 2020 Daily Planetary Guide at one of the few remaining magic shops in Manhattan called Enchantments. I know that some people have mixed feelings about Enchantments, but you know what? Enchantments had what I needed when I needed it. So I marked them as one of my favorites in my personal listing of Google places that I review. Like, I have want to go, I have favorites, and I have starred. And right now, Enchantments is one of my favorites. Why? Because they had they had something that I needed when I needed it, and they had one copy left. It was waiting for me. I didn't know that at the time. You need to tell me something? Okay. So, if you have not already purchased this, please do so. And with that, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, and with that, those of you in YouTube land, thank you so much for honoring who I am and what I do. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the shares. Thank you for the comments. Thank you to those of you who are going to avail yourselves of my psychic services again in 2020. And thank you to those of you who are going to begin availing yourselves of my psychic services for the first time in 2020. And with that, I wish you peace and mountains of blessings, and good night.